Hello, and welcome to another How to Draw video. Today we're going to be drawing a red panda using colored pencils and markers. So grab some paper, grab your supplies, and let's get started. Okay, to start drawing our yellow panda, red panda, I'm going to take my yellow colored pencil and we're going to use this to make an underdrawing or some guidelines to go by. So I'm going to start by doing a horizontal, slightly curved line. And then starting on the left side, we're going to go up and around and back down. And these are just guidelines. They don't have to be perfect. We're going to draw right on top of them. But this way we can see how we want our drawing to be. And we're going to do some curved triangular shapes right at the top for the ears. And starting right about here on this bottom horizontal line, we're going to go up, over, and down around again, following the shape of the overall head. And I know eventually we'll add some fur, maybe some fur up top. So I don't mind getting a little bit messy and just giving myself those reminders. Okay, we're going to add some fur over here later. Now in the middle here, but at the top, we're going to have the little nose. And your nose can be a circle or your nose could be an oval shape. It's up to you. Now about between this line and the outer line, but maybe a little bit closer to this line, so not quite halfway, we're going to put one of the eyes. And same on the other side. Again, it's okay that I'm being a little bit messy here. And coming right out of the eyes, we know we are going to have this white shape. Remember, we're drawing a red panda, so their snout is going to be white, and there's going to be these white shapes under the eyes. There's also little white, almost look like jelly bean shapes above the eyes. And these kind of will act like eyebrows, so if you want an angry red fox. Red panda. You could have these shapes be arched downward and inward, and you would have an angry one. But ours is just going to be kind of calm and looking at us. Okay, now for the body. Not quite where this line hits, but a little bit off to the side. We're going to come down, same on the other side. And I'm kind of going slow because this is helping me figure out exactly how big I want the body to be. I don't want to make it too big, so maybe we'll just have it come down right about like that. And again, my yellow lines don't need to be perfect, as we're going to be drawing over them with a darker color. Now maybe for the arms, we'll have him maybe pensively holding his belly. Maybe as a tummy ache. I don't know. And red pandas can stand on their feet So we'll have him be standing on some tiny little legs. And I almost forgot the tail. We'll have the tail come out from right back here. They have really cute striped tails, so we'll remember to put the stripes on in a little bit. We could give our panda a white belly too, although they don't really have white bellies. But if you wanted to, you could draw a little line here and give your panda a little white belly. That might be kind of cute. All right, now I'm going to test out my reds. I'm going to get another piece of paper and I'm going to get all the red colored pencils that I have and orange, because we're going to use yellow and orange and red. And I can test out to see, oh, do I like that color? I think I do. That's a pretty bright red. That might be a maybe. That one I don't really like, so I'm going to put it back. That one might be a good shadow color, so I'll put it off to the side. Ooh, that's a really good shadow color. I'll put that off to the side too. That's a good light orange for the light parts of our drawing. And I'll grab the yellow that we were using. So now I have all of our colors ready to grab whenever I need it, and I have them light to dark. If you don't have this many colored pencils, that's okay. You could use just a yellow, an orange, a red, and a brown. The yellow is going to be your lighter color, the orange is going to be your middle color, and then you can use red and brown for your shadow colors. So to start with our panda, I'm going to take this red that we started with, and we're going to give him a pretty dark outline. I'm going to press pretty hard. Remember, I had these scribbles to remind myself I wanted to give our panda some fur, just like that. And I'm just going to cross right over our yellow line that we put down as our guideline. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go over it exactly. But we're just using that as a guide. And as we color our panda in, that yellow color should disappear. I'm pressing down pretty hard, not hard enough to break my colored pencil, but hard enough to have that nice dark red line. Don't want to forget the paws and the tail. Now for the eyes, I'm going to take a black marker. I'm using this micron. I like microns because they're waterproof. So if you use them, you can sometimes paint right on top. But if you don't have a marker like this, you can use any kind of marker or pen that you have. And if you don't have a marker or pen handy, you can use a black colored pencil. I like microns or markers because sometimes a black colored pencil can smudge when we go to color in our drawing. So I'm looking at where I put my eyes earlier. I'm just going to make a little circle and a smaller circle inside of it, just to give a little highlight on that eye. And I don't want to touch it right away because I want it to dry a little bit. Same on the other side. Uh-oh, I made a little bit of a mistake. But that's okay, we can try to adjust it. I'll fix my funny circular eye by making it just a little bit bigger. Have you ever made this mistake before where you make one eye a little bit bigger than the other one? Or you mess up on it? I do it all the time, but because we made this eye a little bit bigger, we'll make the other one a little bit bigger too. Okay, and I think for the nose, remember how we had this dark color that we picked out? I think we should use that color for the nose. You could use black too, but that might make it a little confusing with the black eyes. It's looking pretty cute already. Now, to color in our red panda, I'm going to go through a 3-step process, starting with our yellow. I want to remember where all the white parts are. So I think the best way to do that is just taking my yellow, I'm going to really lightly, not pressing down too hard at all. I'm going to color in the panda. And feel free to take your time with this. Pause the video if you need to. See, I didn't wait for my marker to dry enough before I brought my colored pencil to it. I gotta remember that. It smudged it just a little bit. But again, that's okay. Mistakes happen all the time. But I'm going to speed up the video on this part, but feel free to pause and take your time coloring in your panda. Okay, we have our first layer all colored in. And I know it seems like a lot of work, but what we're actually going to do is take our orange color and we're going to color in our panda right on top of that yellow that we just put down. And what this can do is it will build up our colored pencil yellow colors. You can have your yellow work for you like a lighter color, like a highlight. And this orange can be a slightly color darker or a mid-tone. As I get more towards the middle of the face of my red panda, I'm just going to lighten up a little bit. I don't want it to be so dark orange. But around this outer edge I'm okay pressing down a little bit harder and making it a little bit of a darker color. And by doing that, by pressing down around the outside and pressing very lightly in the middle, you can see how it's creating some shape and tone to our colored pencil drawing. And I can go right back over these areas and darken them up even more if I decide I would like them to be a little bit darker. I'm going to continue coloring my drawing this way, but I'm going to speed up the video again. Remember, in this middle section of the face, we're not pressing quite as hard. We're going to keep that a little bit lighter. But around these outside edges, we can continue coloring it in darker and darker. Don't forget the tail. Okay, we have a pretty good idea of what our red panda is going to look like now. Red pandas have darker arms and paws. So I'm going to take my very, very dark, shadowy color that we had picked out at the very beginning. If you don't have a darker red, maybe you picked out a brown. That would work too. But we're just going to go right over these sections of arm. I'm not pressing too hard here. It's easier to go slow and not press too hard and have it be too dark. It's easier to do that and maybe build your color slowly than it is to just color in, pressing as hard as you can, putting as much colored pencil as you can on the paper, and then if you're, say, uh-oh, I actually didn't like that, I got a little bit too dark, or that was the wrong color, well, then there's not a whole lot you can do except start over. Which is okay. I start over all the time with my drawings. But when you get really far in a drawing and you've been working on it for a long time, it's not always fun to start over. It can be very frustrating. I'm going to go back to that beautiful red color that we used to outline our panda. And I'm just going to go over these arms and legs with that just to add a little bit more red to it. I think that looks great. Now for the tail. Remember, their tails have stripes. So I'm going to start with my red color. So I don't want my stripes to be too dark. I like that, but I think it doesn't quite stand out enough. And it also doesn't seem like it matches the color on our arms and legs. So I'm going to go in with that darker red. Go right on top. It can be a little bit tricky to put this much colored pencil on top of colored pencil. Sometimes it doesn't want to go, but we'll just do the best that we can. I can also put a little bit of a shadow underneath the tail. And I'll go back with the orange to help just darken that up just a little bit. It's almost ready, but not quite. I'm going to take this red and just color a little bit more red into the panda. I'm really trying hard not to smudge. You can see I smudged my drawing a little bit. So I'm trying to keep my hand nice far away so I don't smudge the colors that I already have down. But I'm just taking this and going right around those edges again. Not pressing too hard. I think one of my favorite things about using colored pencils are the textures that you can get. But what can also be tricky about it is a lot of that white paper comes through the colored pencils. That's how you get the texture, but sometimes it can look like an unfinished drawing. So taking your time and working really hard, using multiple colors and building your colors up slowly, that can really make you have a more polished, finished drawing. But it takes time and it takes patience, which isn't always easy. If I take my orange color that I was using earlier and I just go right back over everything, pressing pretty hard, what this is going to do is help blend my colors together, and it's also going to fill in some of that white that's showing through the white of the paper. And this will help make us have a more complete and finished drawing. I might speed up this part just a little bit, but feel free to take your time. I'm going to take my really dark color and just one more time add a little bit to the shadowy areas. That would be the inside of the legs and down towards the bottom. And just kind of reinforce these arms a little bit. Separate them from the body just a little. And there we have our red panda. Now it's floating on the page just a little bit. So I'm going to take this green color that I have. Oh, it's more of a turquoise. And we're just going to give our panda a little bit of a shadow and ground to stand on. That way it doesn't look like they're just floating in the middle of the page. There we go. And one of the most important things, don't forget to sign your artwork. There you have it. Thanks so much for drawing along with me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did drawing this red panda. Be sure to like and subscribe so you can follow along for more drawing videos. Until next time.